Matchmakers Mishaps. 10 years had flown by since Emma and Emilio's high school romance crumbled due to Emilio's immaturity and unfaithfulness. She had moved on, focusing on her studies and personal growth, while he had gone through various phases, trying to find his place in the world. One evening, Emma was attending a charity event at a local art gallery when she spotted a familiar face across the room. There stood Emilio, confidently rocking his signature feminine skirt and surrounded by a group of adoring women. Her heart skipped a beat, but memories of their past flooded her mind, reminding her of the pain he had caused. Curiosity and a hint of mischief took over Emma. She decided to approach him, just to see if he had changed as much as his fashion sense. As she got closer, she noticed that Emilio hadn't recognized her yet. With a playful glint in her eye, she introduced herself using a fake name and struck up a casual conversation. Emilio, being the charismatic soul he was, didn't hesitate to engage with this new acquaintance. Unaware of her real identity, he started sharing some of his adventures and misadventures over the past decade. Emma couldn't help but laugh as he recounted tales of his unstable phase, where he had taken life too lightly and faced the consequences. "So, any epic love stories during your unstable period?" Emma asked, trying to contain her laughter. "Oh, you wouldn't believe it." Emilio chuckled, oblivious to the irony of the question. "I had my fair share of flings and dramatic relationships, but nothing ever lasted. I guess I wasn't really taking life or love seriously back then." Emma couldn't resist teasing him further. "Oh, I can totally relate. I had a boyfriend like that once. Complete heartbreaker." Emilio's eyes widened, as if a flicker of recognition was finally starting to spark. "Really? What happened to him?" "We were deeply in love, but he ended up cheating on me," Emma replied, feigning sadness. Emilio's expression changed from surprise to genuine concern. "I'm so sorry to hear that. He must have been a real jerk." "He was, but it's all in the past now," Emma said, struggling to maintain her charade. "I've moved on and focused on my career." As Emma saw the opportunity to continue the playful banter, she couldn't resist dropping another bombshell. She leaned in, whispering with a sly grin, "You know, I may have had my revenge on Mr. Sticky back then." Emilio's eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, what? Emma?" Emma raised her hands in defense. "It was all in good fun, I promise. I couldn't bear all those lies anymore, admit it, you deserved it. One night, while you were fast asleep, I couldn't resist. I grabbed a glue gun, and I added pink twists to your hair," Emma said, trying to hold back her laughter. "You looked like a walking cotton candy." Emilio couldn't help but laugh, realizing how ridiculous and hilarious he must have looked with pink hair. "I can't believe you did that. And you know what the best part was?" Emma continued with a grin. "You didn't even notice it until your friends started laughing and filming you." Emilio burst into laughter, imagining his younger self with an unintentional pink hairdo. "Oh, I bet that was quite a shock. It was. You walked into school, and everyone couldn't stop laughing, Emma said, laughing along with him. Emilio shook his head, still amused by the memory. I can't believe I was walking around like that. I had to give up my great hairstyle and embrace baldness. Since then, everyone has called me Mr. Sticky. Curious to know more about Emilio's journey, Emma leaned in and asked, after that video of Mr. Sticky went viral and everyone had a good laugh, how did you manage to overcome that and become the well-known influencer you are today? Emilio's smile softened as he looked back on that turning point in his life. It was definitely a challenging time, but I realized that laughter is a powerful tool. Instead of hiding from the nickname or feeling embarrassed, I embraced it with a sense of humor. I decided to own the Mr. Sticky persona, turning it into something that made people smile rather than cringe. Emma nodded, impressed by his resilience and positive outlook. That's pretty clever. So, you used humor to your advantage? Yes, exactly. Emilio replied. I started posting funny videos and memes about the Mr. Sticky incident, poking fun at myself and showing that I didn't take life too seriously. People loved it. They appreciated that I could laugh at myself and not let the past define me. And it worked like a charm, Emma said, smiling. Your authenticity and ability to make people laugh must have really resonated with your audience. It did. It helped me connect with people on a more personal level, Emilio said. And as I gained more followers, I realized that my unique sense of style was also a big part of my appeal. I decided to embrace it fully and make fashion my platform for self-expression. I'm glad you did, Emma said, genuinely proud of him. You've become an inspiration to so many, encouraging them to be true to themselves and not be afraid of what others think. It's been an incredible journey, Emilio admitted. There were times when I doubted myself, but I kept pushing forward, focusing on spreading positivity and laughter. And along the way, I found my passion for fashion, which opened up so many opportunities. As Emilio expressed his heartfelt apologies and shared how he had grown into a different person, Emma listened attentively, appreciating his sincerity and growth. Thank you for acknowledging your past mistakes, Emilio, Emma said, smiling warmly. It takes courage to confront our past and take responsibility for our actions. I'm truly happy to see the positive changes you've made in your life. He nodded, looking genuinely grateful for her understanding. You've always had a way of seeing the best in people, Emma. And I'm so glad that you found your path in psychology. It suits you perfectly. Emma's eyes lit up, and she felt a sense of pride in her chosen profession. Psychology has been a fulfilling journey for me. It allows me to connect with people on a deeper level, understand their emotions, and guide them toward healing and growth. I can imagine how rewarding that must be, Emilio replied, his admiration for her evident in his eyes. It truly is, Emma said. Helping others find happiness and navigate through life's challenges has been incredibly fulfilling for me. Then Emma expresses her disappointment as she shares that she has recently moved to the city and hasn't been able to find a job yet. She wonders if she should consider trying something different. I can't just sit around waiting for something to come my way. I need to be proactive and take charge of my own future, Emma replied, feeling a surge of determination. Emilio's eyes sparkled with excitement as he said, "Exactly. Let's brainstorm some crazy business ideas together. There's no limit to what we can achieve." They spent the next hour playfully tossing around wild and imaginative business concepts. From a gourmet pet food truck to a robot pet-sitting service, their ideas knew no bounds. Laughter filled the room as they shared their most outrageous thoughts. Then, with a theatrical flourish, Emilio exclaimed, "I've got it. We should create a matrimonial agency together." Emma raised an eyebrow, amused by his sudden burst of enthusiasm. "A matrimonial agency? Seriously?" "Yes, seriously," Emilio declared, looking more confident than ever. "You have the understanding of human psychology, and I have a vast network of connections. Together, we can make the perfect team to bring people together and help them find love." Emma couldn't help but chuckle at the idea. "You know, that's not as crazy as some of the other ideas we've come up with tonight. In fact, it's kind of brilliant." Emilio grinned victoriously, pleased that Emma was considering the idea. "I knew you'd see the potential in it. Think about it, we could use our skills and knowledge to create a unique matchmaking service, one that's all about making genuine connections based on understanding and compatibility." The more they talked about it, the more Emma saw the potential in the idea. It was unconventional, just like their own love story, and that made it even more appealing. "You know what, Emilio? I think you're onto something," Emma said, a glimmer of excitement in her eyes. "Let's do it! Let's create a matrimonial agency together." Emilio's face lit up with joy. "Yes! This is going to be amazing. I propose to name it Love Link Partners," Emma said. "What a beautiful name. It conveys the agency's mission of connecting people in search of true love. It's a name that exudes warmth and an invitation to find meaningful connections." As Emilio took charge of finding the perfect headquarters for Love Link Partners, he wanted to impress Emma and show her that he was fully committed to making the agency a success. He scouted various locations around the city, looking for a place that would embody the spirit of love and romance. One day, after visiting several potential spaces, Emilio excitedly called Emma to meet him at the latest location he had found. He had a huge grin on his face as he waited for her to arrive. When Emma walked in, she was met with an unexpected sight. The space was filled with heart-shaped decorations, flowers, and even a banner that read Love Link Partners Headquarters. Emilio had gone all out to create a romantic ambience. "Emilio, what's all this?" Emma asked, trying to hold back a laugh. He beamed with pride. "I wanted to create a love-filled atmosphere for our agency headquarters. Don't you think it sets the perfect mood for matchmaking?" Emma chuckled, charmed by his enthusiasm. "It's definitely unique," he chuckled nervously, rubbing the back of his neck. "I just thought it would add some charm to the place, set the right mood for our clients." "It's definitely charming," Emma replied, a teasing glint in her eyes. "But let's make sure it doesn't scare potential clients away." They shared a laugh, and Emma appreciated Emilio's effort to create a welcoming atmosphere for love-link partners. It was clear that he was going all out to make this venture a success. Throughout the week, Emilio continued to try and impress Emma in various ways. He brought her coffee every morning and even surprised her with a bouquet of her favorite flowers. One evening, as they wrapped up work for the day, Emilio surprised her with a heartfelt speech. "Emma, I know I might have been a bit overwhelming this week, and I want you to know that I'm not trying to rush anything or force you into anything you're not ready for. I just want to show you how much you mean to me, and how committed I am to make this business and our relationship a success." Emma took a step closer to Emilio and said, "I appreciate everything you've done, and I can see how much you've changed. Let's take this one step at a time, together," Emilio said gently, taking her hand in his. "I'm willing to take this journey with you, one step at a time, and I'll be patient for as long as it takes. I care about you deeply, and I want to show you that I've changed, not just through words but through my actions." She looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and determination in his gaze. A part of her wanted to believe in the possibility of a future with him, but another part was afraid of getting hurt again. "It's not that I don't believe that you've changed, Emilio," Emma said softly, her voice tinged with vulnerability. "It's just that the pain from the past still lingers, and I'm not sure if I have the strength to open my heart again." Emilio nodded understandingly, his grip on her hand gentle and reassuring. "I know it won't be easy, but I promise to be there for you every step of the way. We can take things at your pace, and I'll respect whatever decision you make. Emma, now, my first decision is to go to Nicole and present these profiles of these 3 potential matches." Emilio was excited about their first real client, Nicole, and he couldn't wait to find the perfect match for her. As he opened the file containing all the information Emma had meticulously compiled, he was surprised to see the level of detail she had put into creating Nicole's psychological profile. "Okay, let's see what we have here," Emilio said, clearing his throat before starting to read aloud Nicole's profile. Nicole, aged 29, is an adventurous and spontaneous individual who loves trying new things. She has an uncanny ability to make everyone around her laugh, even in the most serious of situations. Nicole was rich. She came from an influential family. Be prepared for an endless stream of puns and witty comebacks. Warning: dad jokes may be involved. Emma had included a small drawing of a smiley face with a speech bubble containing a pun, and Emilio couldn't help but chuckle at her attention to detail. Nicole is a social butterfly, and her friends describe her as the life of the party. She's a firm believer in the power of dance-offs and has never lost one. Proceed with caution. She has a knack for charming people with her infectious energy and positive outlook on life. Emilio paused, trying to stifle his laughter as he continued reading. On the flip side, Nicole can be a bit clumsy. She once tripped over a flat surface and managed to spill coffee on herself while standing still. So, potential suitors, watch out for unexpected obstacles. He glanced at Emma, who was grinning mischievously, clearly enjoying the moment. But don't be fooled by her playful nature, Emilio read on. Nicole is also an intelligent and driven individual. She's a tech whiz with a passion for coding and an impressive collection of Star Wars memorabilia. She's not afraid to geek out about her favorite fandoms and can engage in deep discussions about the latest advancements in technology. Emilio raised an eyebrow, impressed by Nicole's diverse interests. This girl is a delightful mix of fun and brains. He continued reading. When it comes to relationships, Nicole values communication and emotional honesty above all else. She's looking for someone who can match her wit, keep up with her adventurous spirit, and appreciate her quirks. Bonus points if you can make her laugh until her stomach hurts. Emilio couldn't help but smile. It was clear that Emma had put a lot of effort into getting to know Nicole and creating a profile that captured her essence. All right, so we have an adventurous, pun-loving, dance-off champion, tech-savvy geek with a heart of gold, Emilio summarized, still trying to hold back his laughter. I have to say, this is one of the most unique and entertaining profiles I've ever seen. Nicole is going to be a joy to match with potential partners. Emma beamed with pride, happy that her hard work was appreciated. I'm glad you like it. I wanted to make sure we understood Nicole as a person, not just as a client. Well, you definitely succeeded, Emilio replied. Now, let's get to work and find the perfect match for our charming Nicole. As Emilio started discussing the profiles of the potential matches with Nicole, he noticed that her attention seemed to be drifting. She kept stealing glances at him, and he couldn't help but wonder if she was more interested in him than in the profiles. So, Nicole, let's take a look at these profiles, Emilio said, trying to steer the conversation back on track. Nicole nodded, but her eyes kept wandering back to Emilio. Sure, let's see who these guys are. Emilio cleared his throat and began describing the first profile. All right, we have Mark. He's a fun-loving and adventurous guy who enjoys outdoor activities and trying new things. Nicole glanced at Emilio and grinned mischievously. Sounds like you, Emilio. Are you sure you're not secretly Mark? Emilio laughed, a hint of embarrassment in his voice. I promise I'm not Mark. But hey, maybe you'll find some similarities between the two of us. Cole raised an eyebrow playfully. We'll see about that. Trying to regain his composure, Emilio continued with the next profile. Next, we have Jake. He's a tech-savvy geek with a passion for coding and all things Star Wars. Nicole's eyes sparkled with interest. Oh, a fellow geek. That's intriguing. Emilio chuckled. Yes, it seems you both have a love for all things geeky. Maybe you can have a lightsaber battle on your first date. Nicole laughed, clearly entertained by the idea. That would be a date to remember, for sure. Finally, Emilio moved on to the last profile. And last but not least, we have Michael. He's a humorous and spontaneous guy who loves making people laugh. Nicole grinned, looking back at Emilio again. You know, you've been making me laugh a lot tonight. Emilio felt a blush creeping up his cheeks. Well, I'm glad I could bring some laughter into your life. They both shared a playful moment of laughter, and Emilio realized that perhaps Nicole's interest in him wasn't just his imagination. He decided to seize the opportunity and add a touch of humor to the situation. Nicole, I must confess something, Emilio said with a playful glint in his eyes. I might have been secretly trying to impress you with these profiles, hoping you'd find something familiar in them. Nicole raised an eyebrow, pretending to be surprised. Oh, really? And why is that? Emilio grinned. Well, maybe I see a bit of myself in each of these profiles, and I thought it would be a clever way to show you that I'm more than just a serious business partner. Nicole laughed, her eyes locked on Emilio's. Well, Mr. Serious Business Partner, you definitely succeeded in catching my attention. As their laughter filled the room, it became clear that the chemistry between them was undeniable. As Emilio found himself caught in the whirlwind of emotions, he realized that he needed to refocus on his initial mission of helping Nicole as a client rather than getting carried away by the potential idyllic scenario. Trying to clear his mind, Emilio took a deep breath and said, Nicole, I must remind myself that we're here to find you the perfect match, not get caught up in daydreams. Nicole's playful smile softened into understanding. You're right, Emilio. Let's focus on the profiles, and maybe you can share some insights about these potential matches. As Emilio showed Nicole another profile, he suddenly remembered that Emma had initially mentioned 3 profiles, but he had 20 in hand. Trying to remain calm and funny when Nicole seemed really interested in a profile, he continued with his signature charm. Ah, here's another potential match for you, Nicole, Emilio said with a playful grin, trying to cover up his momentary lapse. Nicole took the profile and started reading it attentively. As she delved into the details, Emilio couldn't help but notice that this match was the opposite of Nicole's adventurous and outgoing personality. He realized that he might have made another mismatched choice. Let's see what we have here, Nicole said, a curious smile on her face as she read through the profile. Emilio tried to keep the mood light. Get ready for Mr. Intellectual Introvert. He enjoys spending quiet evenings with a good book and contemplating the deeper meanings of life. Nicole chuckled, amused by the contrast. Wow, that's quite different from my love for outdoor activities. You know what they say, opposites attract, Emilio quipped, hoping to make light of the situation. Nicole raised an eyebrow playfully. I suppose that's true. I could use some philosophical conversations in my life. As they continued discussing the profile, Emilio's nervousness grew, fearing that this match might not be the right fit for Nicole. But he couldn't let his doubts show, and he encouraged her to consider meeting Mr. Intellectual Introvert. I mean, you never know until you try, Emilio said, trying to sound optimistic. He might surprise you with his profound insights. Nicole nodded, still wearing a smile. You're right, Emilio. I'll keep an open mind and see where it leads. The day after the meeting, Nicole called Emilio nervously to share her experience. Emilio, that meeting was the most disastrous of all times. I never want to hear from your agency again. Oh no, what happened? Emilio asked, concerned yet trying to hold back his laughter. He took me to an art gallery, and he talked non-stop about abstract art and the deeper meaning behind each painting, Nicole recounted, sounding exasperated. I was completely lost, and I could barely understand a word he was saying. Emilio couldn't help but laugh at the comical situation. Well, I guess those philosophical conversations weren't exactly what you had in mind. Nicole chuckled, realizing the irony of the situation. Definitely not. I love art, but I prefer the kind you can actually understand. As Nicole continued sharing her disastrous date with Emilio, she couldn't help but recount another mismatched profile that led to a hilariously awkward encounter. So, this one time, the profile you presented was described as a world traveler and adventure enthusiast, Nicole said, trying to keep a straight face. I thought, perfect. We'll have so much in common. But when I met him, it turned out his idea of adventure was visiting every museum in town. Emilio's eyes widened in surprise. Oh, that's quite the definition of adventure. Nicole chuckled. You have no idea. He insisted on taking me to one museum after another, and he was so passionate about each exhibit that it was hard to keep up. And I thought our dates were supposed to be exciting, Emilio joked, trying to imagine the not-so-thrilling museum marathon. You and me both. Nicole laughed. At one point, he got really enthusiastic about this ancient pottery display and started explaining its historical significance in great detail. I couldn't help but zone out a bit. Emilio couldn't help but tease, well, I guess he took world traveler quite literally, traveling through time and history in the museum. Nicole chuckled. Exactly. It was like going on a historical expedition rather than a romantic date. He was not dressed fashionably, he looked unkempt. You mentioned a love for cooking and experimenting with different cuisines, Nicole said, her expression softening. After the marathon, he proposed that he prepare dinner, but I found out that he couldn't even boil an egg without burning it. Emilio burst into laughter, finding the irony too amusing to ignore. So much for the gourmet chef. As Nicole's anger dissipates amidst the laughter and lightheartedness, she can't help but feel a sense of relief and amusement and says, "All right, Emilio, I'll give you one more chance, but you better promise me that this time it'll be perfect." Emilio grins, feeling grateful for Nicole's understanding and willing to make it right. I promise, Nicole, I'll find you the most amazing and compatible match. No more museum enthusiasts or cooking mishaps. He takes a moment, and then adds, but you know, I want to make sure I find someone truly special for you. Not just any random person. So, how about this? Give me a few months to really search far and wide, explore different avenues, and find the person who will truly make your heart sing. Nicole raises an eyebrow, intrigued by the idea. A few months, huh? You better not be stalling, Emilio. He chuckles, shaking his head. No stalling, I promise. I just want to make sure I do my best for you. So, can I have your permission to take a little extra time for this quest? Nicole nods, a smile forming on her lips. All right, Emilio, you've got yourself a deal. But remember, the clock is ticking, and I'm putting my trust in you. I won't let you down, Emilio assures her, feeling a sense of determination to make this mission a success. I'll be your personal matchmaker, and by the time a few months have passed, you'll have found your perfect match. Nicole responds, all right, matchmaker Emilio, let's see what you can do. I can't wait to see who you come up with. Nicole chuckles, knowing that she can trust Emilio's dedication to finding the right match for her. All right, one more shot, but it better be the charm. As Emma waited eagerly to hear about Nicole's date, she couldn't help but notice that Emilio was being unusually vague and evasive. She raised an eyebrow, suspicion creeping in as she asked, so, how did it go with Nicole? Emilio tried to hide his nerves, attempting to maintain a poker face. Oh, it went really well. They had a great time together. Emma's eyes narrowed, sensing that something was amiss. Really? That's all you're going to tell me? I need more details. Emilio stuttered, trying to come up with a convincing response. Well, they had a lot in common, and they couldn't stop laughing. It was just a perfect match. Unbeknownst to Emilio, Emma had a keen sense of detecting lies, especially when it came to matchmaking. She smirked, ready to catch him in his own web of deception. Oh, a perfect match, huh? That's impressive. Emilio's face flushed, realizing that he had dug himself into a hole. Yes, indeed. I told you, I have a knack for finding the right connections. Just as he was about to fabricate more details, Emma decided to have some fun with him. Well, Emilio, since everything went so perfectly, why don't you invite Nicole and her perfect match over for dinner tomorrow? Emilio's eyes widened in panic. Oh, well, you see, they are both busy tomorrow, but I promise, I'll set up another date soon. Emma couldn't hold back her laughter any longer. I knew it! You're bluffing, Emilio. Admit it, the date didn't go as smoothly as you're making it out to be. Caught red-handed, Emilio finally surrendered, his shoulders slumping in defeat. Okay, you got me. The date was actually a disaster, and Nicole wants to try another profile. But hey, I managed to convince her to give us a few months to find the perfect match for her. Emma smiled, nodding in approval. That's a good plan. Taking some extra time might be just what you need to find the right person for her. Exactly, Emilio replied, relieved that Emma understood. "I want to make sure I get it right this time. Nicole deserves someone amazing, and I won't settle for anything less." Emma patted him on the back reassuringly. "Don't worry, Emilio. I have faith in your matchmaking skills. Just take your time and make sure you find someone who truly makes her happy." Emilio grinned, appreciating Emma's support. "Thanks, Emma. I'll do my best. And who knows, maybe with a little luck, we'll find the perfect match for Nicole sooner than we think." After a few months of hard work and dedication, Emilio and Emma managed to make several successful matches, and their matchmaking company began to gain popularity. They were starting to earn a reputation for finding compatible and long-lasting connections. One day, as they were celebrating their recent achievements, just then, the phone rang, and it was Nicole on the line. "Hey, Emilio, have you found any potential matches for me yet? Or am I destined to keep enduring your disastrous choices?" Emilio chuckled, feeling confident this time. "Actually, yes, you called the landline at the perfect time. I've been working on finding some great profiles for you, and I believe I have a few promising matches." Nicole's curiosity piqued. "Really? You're not just pulling my leg again, are you?" "No, I promise," Emilio replied sincerely. "I've put a lot of effort into this, and I genuinely think these matches have potential. How about we meet up soon, and I can show you the profiles I've prepared?" Nicole agreed, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. "All right, Emilio, you've got a deal. But this time, I hope your matchmaking skills have improved." As Emilio finished talking on the phone with Nicole, Emma overheard the conversation and offered to help. "You know what, Emilio? Why don't I go and present the profiles to Nicole? I can help ease any tension and make her feel more comfortable." Emilio thought about it for a moment and then nodded appreciatively. "That might be a good idea, Emma. You have a way of putting people at ease, and I want Nicole to feel completely comfortable with this process." Emma smiled, happy to be of assistance. "Great! I'll schedule a time with her, and we can go through the profiles together. Hopefully, we'll find the perfect match for her this time." Emilio agreed, feeling relieved to have Emma's support. "Thanks, Emma. I really want this to work out for Nicole, and having you there will definitely help." As Emma sat down with Nicole to propose the right profiles, she felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Unlike Emilio, she wanted to tell the story from the heart, relying on her instincts and genuine understanding of Nicole's desires. As she started to talk about the potential matches, Emma realized that she had read through so many profiles that they were now all mixed up in her head. She tried to recall the details, but they seemed to blur together, making it challenging to present them coherently. "Nicole, I have some great potential matches for you," Emma began, trying her best to remember the profiles she had read. "There's one person who loves outdoor adventures and who is a talented chef." Nicole listened attentively, but as Emma mentioned more details, she began to panic. She couldn't recall which profile matched with each trait. Not wanting to disappoint Emma and ruin her last chance, Nicole decided to improvise. "Oh, yes. The one who loves outdoor adventures sounds perfect," Nicole chimed in, hoping that she guessed correctly. Emma's eyes lit up, thinking Nicole was talking about a profile that she had mentioned. "Yes, exactly. They have such an adventurous spirit, and I think you two would have an amazing time together. Should I set up a date?" Nicole hesitated for a moment, realizing that she might be agreeing to meet someone based on a profile that didn't exist. But she didn't want to let Emma down, so she nodded eagerly. "Yes, please. I can't wait to meet them." As Emilio impatiently waited for Emma to share how the meeting with Nicole went, he couldn't help but notice her evasiveness. He had known Emma for a long time, and he could easily sense when something was off. "Emilio, so, Emma, how did it go with Nicole? Did she like the profile I prepared?" Emma: "Oh, yeah, she loved it. She was really impressed with your matchmaking skills." Emilio: "That's fantastic. I knew I could find the perfect match for her." Emma: "Yes, you sure did. Your profile was spot on." Emilio: "Tell me more. What did she like about the profile? Did she mention anything specific?" Emma: "Oh, she loved the part about the guy being a skilled salsa dancer and a gourmet chef. She said it was a winning combination." Emilio: "Salsa dancer and chef? That's interesting. I don't remember adding that to any profile." Emma: "Oh, it was just a little creative flair. I thought it would add some excitement to the profile." Emilio: "Creative flair, huh? Well, I'm glad she liked it, but next time, let's stick to the facts." Emma: "Got it. No more salsa dancing chefs." But hey, it worked, didn't it? She wants to meet him. Emilio: "I have a feeling you're up to something, Emma." Emma: "Me? Never. I'm just trying to keep things interesting." Emilio: "Well, you certainly succeeded in that." As panic surged through Emma, she quickly realized the gravity of the situation. She had mixed up profiles, and the man Nicole was expecting to meet didn't exist. She felt guilty for deceiving her friend, and her mind raced to come up with a solution. Emilio, seeing the distress on Emma's face, knew he needed to step in and help. He took a deep breath to calm his own nerves and came up with a plan to salvage the situation. "Okay, Emma, here's what we're going to do," Emilio said, his voice filled with determination. "I'll call one of our previous successful matches, someone who fits the description of the profile Nicole was expecting. We'll see if he's available to meet Nicole today." Emma: "Previous successful matches, you say? How about Romeo?" Emma and Emilio heard the name Romeo mentioned. They both exchanged surprised glances. "Wait, you mean Romeo from the disastrous date?" Emma asked incredulously. Emilio laughed nervously. "Yeah, that's the one. But you won't believe how much he's changed since then. He's gone through a complete transformation. Emma raised an eyebrow. A transformation? From the guy who couldn't even boil an egg without burning it? Emilio nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. He's become quite the chef now. I saw him at the Venice restaurant the other day, and he looked like a completely different person. Emma couldn't help but be curious. Really? And you're sure he's safe around fire and knives now? Emilio grinned. Well, he did juggle fire and knives during a live cooking show, but he's become quite skilled at it. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't seen it. Emma chuckled, still finding it hard to believe that Romeo had undergone such a drastic change. Well, I suppose if he's willing to take risks and loves adventure, that might be a good fit for Nicole. Emilio nodded in agreement. Exactly. He's adventurous, charismatic, and he's willing to go above and beyond for the right person. Emma considered the idea, knowing that Nicole did mention her love for spontaneous road trips and shared adventures. You know what, Emilio? Maybe Romeo is just the guy Nicole needs to meet. As Emma and Emilio arranged for Nicole to meet Romeo, they were both amazed at the transformation he had undergone. The team they called in to help with the arrangements had done an incredible job in presenting Romeo in a new light. He looked spectacular, exuding confidence and charm. The night of the special date had arrived, and the enchanting Venice restaurant was the chosen setting for Romeo's grand performance. As the soft glow of candlelight illuminated the hall, Nicole entered the restaurant with a mix of excitement and anticipation. Emilio and Emma, true to their word, watched from a discreet corner, offering reassurance with warm smiles and encouraging nods. As Nicole settled down at the beautifully adorned main table, a sense of mystery lingered in the air. A waiter approached her, holding a single red rose adorned with a delicate ribbon. Attached to the rose was a handwritten note, and Nicole's heart skipped a beat as she read the romantic words written by Romeo. My dearest Nicole, tonight, an adventure awaits you at the Venice restaurant. I have prepared something special to share with you. Let the mystery unfold as you witness my performance with fire and knives and taste the magic in the dishes I create. Meet me at the main table and hold on to this red rose as a symbol of the newfound connection between us. I look forward to showing you a side of me you've never seen before. Nicole's cheeks blushed a soft shade of pink as she read the note. Her heart was filled with a mix of excitement and curiosity about the adventure that awaited her. She clutched the red rose to her chest, cherishing the romantic gesture from Romeo. As the performance began, Nicole was captivated by Romeo's extraordinary showmanship. The flickering flames and dancing knives added an air of excitement and intrigue to the atmosphere. Romeo moved with grace and skill, effortlessly engaging the attention of everyone present. Not only was he an impressive performer, but his culinary creations were nothing short of extraordinary. Each dish he prepared was not only a delight for the taste buds but also a feast for the eyes. Nicole couldn't take her eyes off him, drawn to his magnetic presence and the passion he poured into his craft. As Nicole watched Romeo's mesmerizing performance, she couldn't help but be captivated by his every move. Little did she know that Romeo's assistant, who was also performing alongside him, had caught her gaze and misinterpreted her intent. Feeling flattered, the assistant decided to impress Nicole even more by adding an extra flourish to the act. However, in his attempt to show off, he got a bit carried away and accidentally knocked Romeo off balance just as he was wielding a knife in the air. In a climactic moment, the knife flew out of Romeo's hand, headed straight for a child's ear. Gasps echoed through the room as panic filled the air. But Nicole's adventurous instincts kicked in, and without thinking twice, she sprang into action. With lightning speed, she reached out and caught the flying knife just inches away from the child's ear, saving the day in a heroic moment. The room erupted in applause and relieved laughter as Nicole stood there, a mix of surprise and amusement written all over her face. As the night continued, and the excitement from the daring rescue settled, Nicole found herself back at the main table, where Romeo had prepared a spectacular dish just for her. He winked at her, a playful glint in his eyes, as he presented the plate with a flourish. "Here's a little something to thank you for saving the day," Romeo said, his voice filled with appreciation. Nicole couldn't help but smile, feeling a sense of pride and satisfaction as she took the first bite. The flavors danced on her taste buds, and she couldn't contain her delight. "This is absolutely delicious. You have quite the talent," she complimented him. Romeo grinned, pleased by her reaction. "I'm glad you like it. You truly have a knack for timing, not just in saving lives but also in appreciating great food." As the night progressed, Nicole continued to enjoy the company of Romeo, completely unaware that she had unknowingly crossed paths with him before. Emilio and Emma watched with delight as their plan unfolded flawlessly, and they couldn't help but exchange knowing glances, pleased with the way things were going. Nicole's laughter echoed through the restaurant as she engaged in lively conversations with Romeo and the other guests. She was drawn to his charm and charisma, completely captivated by his enchanting performance and delectable dishes. Meanwhile, Romeo found himself increasingly intrigued by Nicole's adventurous spirit and witty humor. He felt an undeniable connection with her, sensing that she was someone special, someone who could bring excitement and joy into his life. As the musicians appeared in the restaurant and began to serenade the guests with a romantic song, Nicole couldn't help but feel her heart flutter with anticipation. When Romeo extended his hand, inviting her to dance, she gladly accepted, eager to continue their enchanting evening. "You know, I think you have a hidden talent for superhero rescues," Romeo joked, pretending to be in awe of her daring feats. Nicole chuckled. "Well, I never thought I'd be catching flying knives, but I guess it's all in a day's work for a social butterfly like me." Their playful banter and shared sense of humor only deepened their connection, and they found themselves laughing together like old friends who had known each other for a lifetime. As Nicole and Romeo continued to dance to the romantic song, the atmosphere around them felt magical. They were completely lost in each other's company, their laughter and joy contagious to everyone nearby. However, during their enchanting dance, Nicole accidentally tripped over the edge of her own dress, stumbling slightly. She quickly regained her balance, but the misstep caused her to inadvertently bump into a server carrying a tray of drinks. With a gasp, the tray teetered precariously, and the glasses threatened to spill over. Time seemed to slow down as everyone around them held their breath, anticipating disaster. But just as the glasses were about to crash to the floor, Romeo's quick reflexes kicked in. In a daring move, Romeo swiftly grabbed the tray, preventing any mishap. He effortlessly steadied the glasses back in place, saving the evening from turning into a slippery mess. The room erupted in applause, amazed by Romeo's heroic rescue. Nicole stood there, her heart pounding, realizing that her misstep could have led to a disaster if not for Romeo's quick thinking. "Wow, that was close." "Thanks for saving the day again," Nicole said, a mixture of relief and gratitude in her voice. Romeo grinned, feeling a surge of adrenaline from the unexpected adventure. "Seems like we're making quite the daring duo tonight," he replied with a chuckle. As they continued to dance, the sense of suspense and adventure lingered in the air. Nicole's heart raced, not just from the dance, but also from the thrilling turn of events. It was as if their love story was sprinkled with magic and excitement, making every moment feel like an unforgettable adventure. As the song came to an end, they finally caught their breath, their laughter intertwining with the fading applause. Nicole couldn't help but feel a newfound closeness to Romeo, knowing that he was there to protect her, even in the most unexpected situations. Their night of adventure and romance was far from over. As they made their way outside, they found themselves caught in a sudden summer rain shower. Nicole and Romeo laughed and ran through the rain, feeling like kids once again as they danced under the starry night sky. They took refuge in a nearby park, their clothes soaked but their spirits soaring. Amidst the laughter and joy, they shared stories and dreams, feeling a connection that went beyond words. In the midst of the rain-soaked adventure, they discovered that sometimes, the most memorable moments happened when things didn't go as planned. The missteps, the rescues, and the unexpected rain shower all added a touch of excitement and spontaneity to their love story. As they walked hand in hand through the rain, Nicole couldn't help but feel grateful for the night's mishaps and adventures. It was in those moments of suspense and danger that she saw the true depth of Romeo's character, his bravery, quick thinking, and unwavering care for her. From a distance, Emilio and Emma watched with delight, knowing that Nicole and Romeo were embarking on a love story that was both thrilling and heartwarming. It seemed that their missteps and moments of adventure only strengthened their connection, bringing them even closer together. And so, as they danced under the rain and continued their night of adventure, Nicole and Romeo knew that they were destined for a love that was filled with excitement, laughter, and a shared sense of daring. Their love story was just beginning, and they couldn't wait to see where the next adventure would lead them. As the night of adventure and romance continued, Emilio couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of inspiration. Watching Nicole and Romeo's love story unfold before his eyes, he realized that perhaps it was time to take a chance and try again with Emma. Feeling emboldened by the magical atmosphere around them, Emilio mustered up the courage to approach Emma once more. With a smile on his face, he extended his hand towards her, hoping that she would let him hold it. To his surprise and delight, Emma didn't pull away this time. Instead, she reached out and gently took his hand in hers, allowing their fingers to intertwine. It felt like a small but significant step towards a new beginning, and Emilio couldn't help but feel a spark of hope in his heart. As they continued to watch Nicole and Romeo dance and laugh under the rain, Emma's presence felt warm and comforting. It was as if the stars had aligned, and they were caught in a love story of their own. In that moment, Emilio realized that the adventure of love wasn't just about daring rescues or grand gestures, it was also about the small moments of connection and vulnerability that brought two hearts closer together. As the rain began to subside and the night sky cleared, Emilio and Emma found themselves walking side by side through the glistening streets. They shared stories, dreams, and even the funny mishaps of the evening. Their laughter and easy conversation filled the air, and it felt as if time had slowed down just for them. In the quiet moments between words, their hands remained gently held, a simple gesture that spoke volumes of their newfound connection. As they reached the end of the evening, standing under a street lamp, Emilio looked into Emma's eyes and couldn't help but feel a sense of hope and possibility. Maybe this could be the start of another love story, one that was filled with laughter, adventure, and the joy of being together. Emma smiled, her heart fluttering with a mix of emotions. She had been hesitant before, guarded by past experiences, but tonight had shown her that love could be found in the most unexpected places and in the most unexpected ways. Feeling the warmth of Emilio's hand in hers, Emma knew that she was ready to embark on a new adventure, one that involved taking a chance on love once again. And so, as they stood there under the street lamp, their hearts intertwined, Emilio and Emma knew that their love story was just beginning. With the magic of the night guiding them, they were ready to explore the depths of their feelings and see where this journey of love would lead them. From a distance, Nicole and Romeo watched with knowing smiles, happy for their friends who were now venturing into their own love story. It seemed that the night of adventure had not only brought Nicole and Romeo closer together but had also paved the way for Emilio and Emma to find each other amidst the laughter and magic. As they said their goodbyes, promising to meet again soon, Emilio and Emma couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation for the future. Their hearts were open, and they were ready to let love lead them on the most thrilling adventure of all. And so, as the night of romance and laughter came to an end, two love stories intertwined under the starlit sky, and the promise of love's magic lingered in the air. It was a night they would cherish forever, as it had brought them closer to the possibility of a love that was destined to be extraordinary.